This is Plastic Adventures.
Oh man. Hey everybody, it is Steve and Doug with the Plastic Adventures toy community, and you have found yourself on another episode of Plastic Bits / sharing time. Uh
Yes.
you know what? We're actually like only 1 week in between doing these episodes. We just missed 1 week. So
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, like consistency. We're getting consistently mediocre. Pretty awesome. So
But
yeah,
we're on the
yeah.
low end of mediocre, right? Like not even
Yeah,
squarely in the middle.
man, expectations. They're like, like you gotta like live up to them. So, yeah, I don't know about that. Anyways, so like last time it rained and poured, like tons of stuff I found. I've got a few good gets this time. But we were talking off air. You said that you have a couple of really,
I
really
do.
neat things to show.
I do.
So I'm
I
gonna
have
start
one
this
really
one.
in particular cool one, but I'll let you go first.
Okay, so maybe in the spirit of starting off low and building up to a toy getting a crescendo of joy, I'm going to start with an impulse buy that sounded like a really good idea. Um, and and then I got him and I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Mm, yeah.
So you remember the Bendham wrestlers? The there was they're usually like about 5 inches tall and they have the wire in them and they're made out of rubber.
Right.
There was like a series that I want to say like LJN or something did a series of them back in the day.
Okay.
But then Jakks Pacific really took off and ran with a bunch of them in like the mid 90s. You probably wouldn't know, you didn't collect wrestling
Yeah, I
figures, but
really didn't collect wrestling.
they weren't super popular. But I got snookered. I don't buy a lot of wrestlers other than Hulk Hogan. So
Hmm.
when a Bendham Hulk Hogan shows up, a new one,
Hmm.
well, I don't just have to have one. I have to have one in package and one to open.
Oh boy.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you the package.
Oh, it doesn't look too bad.
No, no, it's not bad. His skin tone is really ashy. It's
Hmm.
not like that deep, like brown tan that he has. So it looks way better in package. I'm going to actually show you the figure. I can get this close enough. You see that face?
Yeah, I was going to say.
He's like, I'm Hulk Hogan.
I'm Hulk Hogan, brother.
Those eyes.
And he looks really like shiny.
They are. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why I was disappointed with this. I'm disappointed because the actual Bendham,
Hmm. Like doesn't bend him.
nothing bends.
There's no bend in the Bendham.
Like I know there's metal in there, but yeah.
Like
Oh
if you
God,
tried
he
to
can't.
force it, would it like snap?
It would probably tear off. He can't big boot. He can't cup the ear, and he can't leg drop.
Oh
So,
man, is he even
uh,
Hulk Hogan at that point?
yeah, I was really hoping that because it's about the size of a Galoob. When Hasbro was doing the wrestlers in the very late 80s, early 90s, they had all those gimmicks, right? Like
Hmm.
the pullback arm that punched forward, and you had the Hulk Hogan that did like the bear
Squeeze,
hug
yeah.
and all of that stuff. Um, Galoob was doing a line for WCW that were these 5 inch figures, and they were static posed, almost like the old LJ and rubber wrestlers.
Okay.
Um, I always kind of had this thing like it'd be so cool if I had a Hulk Hogan Galoob. Um, no, nah, that ain't doing it. I
That's
mean,
not what you. That's not all you thought it was.
you can't even pretend with this. So one goes on the shelf, and then one sadly,
Oh
uh,
gosh.
one sadly gets put up on my little display wall with the stuff with the pins. But
Hey, you
yeah,
can say
so
you got him, and that's
so
about it.
we're definitely starting at the very very bottom here. We're gonna work into something that was pretty cool. Everybody's seen them, but I found this one for you when I was out in my travels.
Oh yay!
Yeah, it gives
Yeah,
me
I've never.
hope.
I found that one for you a long time ago, and have never seen him since.
Yeah, so now you got one.
Woo!
I passed on April O'Neil from the latest wave, and it's killing me.
Oh,
But
you shouldn't have done that.
given how available these have been, I'm gonna find her. I'm gonna get
Okay.
her. But I was I don't know why I had my wife with me, and I'm like, I don't collect toys with my wife at Walmart. Of
Shut
course,
up.
I collect toys with
Yes,
my
you
wife
do.
at Walmart. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm starting out. What do you got there, dude?
All right. So first I want to say, so like you dropped off some pretty cool stuff for me last week, which I'm super excited and grateful for. I was happy to get that hound. I was happy to get that Point Dread, which by the way, when you put it together, read the instructions first, people, because there is something in there that says it's not able to come apart once put together. I did
Oh,
not know that. And I like to store vehicles in the boxes. I can't do that now. So now I
got
have
it.
two fully fledged put together Point Dreads. So there you go.
How
But
does
it
it
was still super cool. I love having it.
how does it compare to the original? Is it about the same size or smaller?
Okay, so it is like a hair smaller.
Got it.
It's got
Yep.
some upgrades to it. Like it's got handlebars on the inside the cockpit. It's got glass, like clear plastic instead of just open windshield. The
That's
wings
cool.
are better installed. In fact, once they click on, they don't come off. That's one of the things.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but and the Point Dread itself, like the castle part of it, is very small. Like a figure can't stand up inside of it.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, but
Because
when you put them next to each other, they're just like a hair difference.
yeah, because it used to plug into one of the parapets on Castle Grayskull.
Yep.
Um, I used to have that whole setup. I don't have it anymore. I got rid of my He-Man vehicles, but
Mm.
it was actually pretty impressive putting the old Point Dread on the original Castle Grayskull. It was very cool.
Yeah, you can kind of barely see it in the background, but I do like having Point Dread next to Castle Grayskull. It makes Castle Grayskull feel complete.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, but anyway, you also gave me some cool surprises. Like you gave me that Panache Place Black Voltron, which was a cool surprise. Like I was not expecting that one at all. And he came with the Keith figure, so that was super cool. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. No big deal.
But the one that you gave me that was like the creme de la creme, the icing on the cake, I guess you could say. Probably bad choice of words for that one, but
Oh yes. Yeah, that I was happy to send that your way, not because I thought you would it would remind you of me, but because at Skies Finds I got a fully complete one for
yeah,
God, it was like $10. It was amazing. Conan the Adventurer, I don't remember who made those, but it was from like the mid 90s from the cartoon. And
he's
you've
got
heard
he's
of
got an
like,
interesting action to say the least, right?
yeah, so like you've heard of Battlematic action, which was kind of like an LJN thing. That's like Master Batic
Oh,
action.
we can't say that on YouTube.
It was a soft A. It's like calling somebody an asshole. No big deal, no worries.
All right. So I did get some other stuff though, some really cool stuff. So I'll start off with one of them that I was happy to get. So I think this is probably the best version of Ratchet. I actually found him. Logan found him actually,
Yeah,
and picked him up for me. So this one replaced the one that I just got at the
Inland
the
Northwest.
Inland Northwest Toy Show. But I actually have both of them. I actually think they're both great.
They're terrific, both of them.
Yeah, but this is the one that's on the shelf. So
Where'd Logan hook that one up?
he found it at Walmart, just right down the street.
Oh, good,
Yeah,
good. Oh, that's the Studio Series
the
one, right?
Studio Series one. Yep,
Yeah, yeah. They're still gettable. They're still out there.
they
Yeah,
are.
it's a great figure.
Yeah, I really like him. And I like the fact that him and Ironhide now really look like they're supposed to look, and there's not some
Mhm.
weird appendages or anything like that. I mean, like they look like they're supposed to, so that's really good. All right, so the
Great.
one I was wanted to show this one off last time, but I didn't get it in time. So, but it came finally, and
Oh,
Crystar.
yes.
So, can you see that?
Oh, yeah. Yes,
He
I
is a
can.
great figure, like
Yep.
really good. I don't collect Marvel Legends. Like I think this is the only Marvel Legends I have. And I had to get Crystar because they've not ever released Crystar other than the first time we had him in
Yep.
the early 80s. So having him in a 6 scale figure is just like outstanding. My light
Oh,
is like
it's
really bad. But
that's probably the best of the line that was in that wave. And totally unexpected. That is so awesome that they did that.
yeah.
But this guy, he's actually got like details, and his sword won't like immediately disappear and get lost.
Oh no. Yeah, they did a good job of updating the actual character. So he's very reminiscent of the original toy, but I just love his articulation. He just poses really well. The only thing that I think that was of a complaint would be that his ankle joints are a little too loose. So he'll like after a while he'll start to just kind of slope forward and fall over. So, but
That's a
other than
bummer.
that,
I wonder how, like the old translucent plastic, some of it would get really brittle. I have a Crystar, but I'm afraid to like move his elbows or knees or anything at this point. So,
right.
maybe Hasbro's just trying to engineer around some of that, or maybe they've figured out a way to give their translucent plastic a
Well,
half
it's
life
actually not the
removal.
translucent plastic. The translucent plastic is really nice and sturdy. It's the red plastic
Oh
that
yeah,
was
yeah. They
Luce's
didn't,
boots.
yeah, because they didn't paint it this time.
No,
I think the old one had the painted boots.
yeah.
So yeah,
So
well
something
then
about
shame
that
on you,
ankle joint
Hasbro.
was
What
just
the
is
crap,
just
dude?
it's just loose. That's all it is. But
Yeah,
it's still great.
yeah. No, that toy looks so freaking awesome.
Oh,
Like
I absolutely love it.
as soon as they started shipping, my Facebook feed was just like filled with from all these different collector groups where, oh, look at my new Crystar, and I like it. I'm just running out of space. Like I'm so close. I still might buy it if I see it in the wild.
So I loved the Saga of Crystar toy line. And what's really going to blow my mind is if they actually decide to release a war bow for that.
Mm.
Like if we got a 6.5 inch war bow, clear green with a great like sash across every. I mean, and the eye patch, my brain will explode. I know it will. All right. So one other thing I picked up recently, before I show you the really cool one, and this is really cool itself, but I finally got the 2-pack of
Hey,
foot soldiers.
yeah, yeah.
Really good. Like the detail on these guys is phenomenal.
Oh, that's from Secret of the Ooze. That
Yeah.
they just re-released these guys. I think the accessories might be slightly different than the first
Yeah,
issue.
they come with like some halberds. They got a bunch of different hands, some nunchucks. They got a TGRI like canister.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, they're just. I think I've got as many of them now as I want. Like for that NECA line, um, I'm not really interested in Toka, Razor. I've got April, I've got Casey, I've got the Four Turtles, Splinter, and Shredder. Like I really don't think there's anybody else that I'm.
Unless you want Tatsu.
Well, he would be cool if I ever saw him, but like
Yeah.
I'm not like where it's at right now. Like I'm happy with the NECA figures I've got. I'm like TMNT NECA is pretty much done at this point. I'm done collecting it
Yep.
unless I find him. But yeah,
Yeah.
those are good. Those are really good figures. I really love them. I love that it's a 2-pack too. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Because you can't just have one of those guys. You got to
oh
have a
no.
couple of them flanking the shredder. That would look really cool on a loose display.
All right, so then the last one, the really cool one, the one that I'm super excited to have is Warlord.
Oh man,
Look how
100% complete.
and no tears, no nothing.
He
Just
no scratch. Doesn't look like he's too scratched up or anything either.
no. The only thing that's really kind of not making him perfect is his arms and his legs are just slightly lighter. Not a lot lighter, but just slightly lighter.
Oh right, right.
But other than that, no, he's just so perfect. And if people don't know who Warlord is, he's not one that makes the rounds these days. A lot of people
No,
don't
no.
really remember who he is, but he's from DC. Had a really good comic run and was like high into the high adventures, sword and sorcery, fantasy world. It revolved around Middle Earth and the world of Skartaris and him and his arch enemy Deimos, and then in and out of like soap opera proportions of his son and having multiple wives and just like all over the place. Just it spans like generations. But the other thing that's interesting about Warlord, if a lot of people don't know, I'll point it out, is that that's where Masters of the Universe got its start in comic form. So
Huh?
this issue right here, 60, what is it, 63, was the one where Masters of the Universe made its comic debut.
Oh, shoot. Yes, I was thinking mini comics, but there's something in there, isn't there?
There is, yeah, and Warlord back then, not just Warlord, but I think Conan did it. A couple of the other early DC stuff, they would have an issue where they would do the whole story, and then they would have like 16 other pages left over, and they're like, "Hey, introducing this new character. Here's a story about that." And
Yeah.
so that's what they did with Masters of the Universe. They did a 16-page introduction of that world into DC. So it was really cool.
Yeah. And Remco couldn't wait to get their hands on the license for Warlord because
No,
Masters of the Universe ended up being so hot.
yeah. So it's actually kind of cool that Warlord figure ended up resembling Masters of the Universe so closely, but it was Warlord comic that actually gave Masters of the Universe its comic introduction. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, small world, very cyclical.
Yeah, and that's all I got. But that's really cool.
Yeah, and
He's
I,
one of
I
those
gotta
toys.
ask, I gotta ask,
Yeah, go for it.
you don't ever really see that figure for anything less than like $50 complete. You
I
never do
I
because
got him
it's
less for
it's
less than $50.
the sword, the cape is like super ultra fragile. He
Yep.
loses little pieces of his helmet or scratched up or those hips on the Remco figures,
Hmm.
notorious breakers because
Yeah.
they're
So
just a piece of really like hard brittle plastic that's down into two different little ball joint things that they
exactly.
pop onto, and it's insane. Like out of the package, kids are breaking the legs off of those things. So
Yeah, you move his legs wrong, you tweak them a little bit too much. Even back then, the plastic was not great, so you would snap it right off.
yep.
So to find one in this condition, I mean, his condition is actually really well. It's like he was taken off the card, but he kind of discolored it a little bit on the card. That's kind of what it looks like to me. But I'm okay with just a slight little bit of discoloration if it means I pay way less than what it's going for everywhere else. Because I mean, the one I've got, I looked online to see if there were others that compared, and they were all over $50. So I got a really
Uh-huh.
good deal for the one I did get. But I'm
Yeah.
happy to have him back in my collection. He was one of those that like you would go to Kmart and you'd buy him, and his leg would break, and so you'd go right back and buy another one, right? Like
That's
it.
because you could get two warlords for the price of a Spikor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, but I also have really good memories of him, fighting alongside He-Man in Castle Grayskull because they were so close in size. So yeah,
Yeah,
really
no,
cool.
that's what it was meant for. Well, that's a great get, man. Uh, you always seem to get really, really good deals, and I mean, half of it's just because you're willing to ask, but uh,
Yeah.
that's one that I had looked at multiple times to pick up at some point and was just like, nah, I can't talk myself into that kind of money for it. But if it popped up for what Doug got it for, I
I
might
mean, when it says, you know,
best offer.
45 or best offer, and I offer 30, and he goes, okay, all right, I guess I'm getting a Warlord.
Terrific.
So yeah, all right, that was my sharing time.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, dude. Now that we've shown everybody ours, you can show us yours. How do they find you, Doug?
They can find me on Instagram at the Toyman80s. I post usually daily. I haven't posted the last couple days, but normally I'm posting daily. So you can see my wonderful toy collection, and you can make fun of me for being a toy collector in my 50s. Right?
And you find me over at where all the old people hang out, Facebook, Classic Adventures Toy Community. Just come on in and give us a look or post something. It's a really cool group of people. So,
Right
uh,
on.
you know what? If you like what you saw, drop us a line, comment, question, concern. If you think it's ridiculous, drop a line. If we don't hear from you, then I guess we'll just see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just keep doing what we're doing. See everyone around.